Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I hope you are all doing well. Now, as you guys can see by the title, in this video today, we are going to be discussing dual licensing. Firstly, we're going to be discussing what it is and why we have it. And then I'm going to go into a bit more detail of if maybe you should get it or maybe not. Now, to address the obvious, my amazing moustache. It is November, which means, of course, I am doing Movember, so please ignore the hideous monstrosity that is this really, really bad moustache. But let's get into it. So firstly, I've now completed my flight training. I'm soon to be joining an airline. I have both a UK licence and an EASA licence. Now, for many of you non-pilots might be thinking, why can you have two pilot's licenses? Surely there's just one pilot's license that all pilots have, and if you can have it, you fly the plane. That would be logical, but that's not the case. Now, many observant people may have noticed on the side of a plane when they go on holiday, there is a little code. It's known as the plane's registration. It's sort of like the number plate for the plane, and each plane in the world has a unique registration. And the first 1 to 2 digits of this registration signify where the plane is registered. For example, if the registration starts with a G or a Golf, like all the planes I did my training on, that means they are UK registered aircraft. However, you may see in many other aircraft, if they have a November reg, that means they are American. And every single country has a different unique code. The annoying thing is, if I just have my UK licence, I've got a UK licence, I've qualified as a commercial pilot, so I can go fly all the planes, right? No, because I only have a UK licence, I can only fly the UK registered planes, otherwise known as G-reg planes. Now, if I really desperately wanted to fly a November reg plane for some reason, I could if I had an FAA registered instructor. And then it will just be like any normal lesson. However, if I wanted to be pilot in command of the aircraft and I only had a UK licence, I can only fly G-registered planes. Now, I also have a Danish licence. So you might be thinking, right, well, I can also only fly Danish planes and then UK planes as well. Well, not quite. You see, the Danish licence is also an EASA licence. Basically an EU licence. Now, before Brexit, the UK licence was also an EASA licence because the UK was in Europe. The UK CAA was also part of the EASA registered licences. So that meant that before Brexit, a UK licence meant you could fly any registered EASA plane, which is pretty much every European plane. And that's what my Danish licence allows me to do. This Danish licence allows me to fly any plane. So whether that be a Danish registered, an Irish registered, French, Maltese, you get the gist. If it's registered to an EASA country, I can fly it. But because I have both licenses, this means I can not only fly all the EASA planes, but I can also fly G-Reg UK planes as well. And you might be thinking, why do you need to fly both? Surely you're only going to be flying one. And that's very true. The thing is, when I finished my flight training, I didn't know what airline I was going to be working for. I could be working for an airline that only flies UK registered planes, in which case I would only need my UK licence. Or I could be flying for an airline which only flies the EASA planes, and I would only need my EASA licence. But at the time, I didn't know who I was going to be flying for, and personally, I wanted to increase my employment chances as much as possible at the end of my training. I wanted to get my airline job as quick as possible, and by having both licences, I essentially increased my chances of getting employed almost double. So that's pretty much what the licenses are. Now, before you pick your flight school, it is really important to sit down and work out what airlines fly which licenses. And maybe there is a specific airline you want to fly for, maybe have a look at where their planes are registered and what license you're going to need. However, to be honest, from my personal opinion, when it comes to your first airline, don't be picky. Honestly, just do anything you can to unfreeze your license. I really recommend getting both licenses to increase your employment opportunities at the end. But then once you have decided, maybe you just want a UK license, maybe you just want EASA, or maybe you do want the dual license, which I do recommend, it's time to look at what flight schools can do what. Now, I don't know the details about every flight school in the UK, nor about all the flight schools in the rest of Europe. However, do your research, ask them the big question: do you offer UK license? Do you offer EASA license? Or do you offer both? Now, I went to Leading Edge Aviation and they are brilliant because they do offer the dual license. Now, if you are going to do dual license, there is a bit of extra work to be done, as well as an additional cost, of course. You will have to take double the ground school exams. So at the moment, there are 13 ground school exams. If you sit just UKCAA, you're going to have to sit 13. If you sit just the EASA, you're going to have to sit 13. But doing dual license, you're going to have to sit 26 exams. Now, don't get me wrong, the exams are the same. You're sitting the same subjects, the same topics are going to be appearing. You may even be asked the same questions in your exams. But on the Monday and Tuesday, you might sit your exams for your UK license, and then the Thursday and Friday, sit your exams for your EASA license. They'll be the same exams, you just got to do them twice. As well as that, all the rest of your training is pretty much the same, except for when you get to your MEIR stage, the multi-engine instrument rating, where you're going to have to sit 2. As many of you know, I did some flight training in France, which was brilliant fun, but that was for my EASA license. As well as that trip I did to France, I also did another trip for my exam itself, where I flew to France, took the exam, and then flew back. So those ferry flights can obviously cost quite a lot, as well as the exams itself, and then the ground school exams, all added up, can come at a price. So do your research, find out what schools can do dual licensing, if you want to do that, and I really recommend you do. But if you're not too bothered about it and you only really want to work for one airline and they only fly a UK license, then I suggest going for the UK license, or vice versa for the EASA license. But again, try keep your options as open as possible at the end of your training. Now that's pretty much it. I know that's not too long of a video and that was quite a lot of information. There is a lot more to know and there's a lot more out there. It is a complicated process. What I recommend do is contacting the prospective flight schools that you want to go to, or if you're currently at a flight school and want to do dual license, I suggest talking to them and seeing if it is an option for you. So guys, let me know your thoughts about dual licensing down in the comments. Yes, it is complicated and it's a long process, but it is really important to know all the facts. If you do have any questions about dual licensing, let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them, but might not be able to answer them all as it is a really complicated subject. And if there are any more topics you want to discuss, also leave a comment down below and I can try and make a video on them as well. And if you did enjoy today's video and you want to see me putting my licenses into use, check out this video where I took my little cousin for his first ever trial flight in a small aircraft. He absolutely loved it. It was a brilliant flight, so make sure you go watch it. We had loads of fun as well. But that's all for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching.